I've never been introduced as a flower before.
It's okay, I was introduced as a virgin.
How was everyone's April Fool's?
Good.
It's alright.
I got arrested for exposing myself at a petting zoo yesterday. April Fool's is a real zoo. I like to play guitar when I tell my jokes because it helps with the timing, but it also helps me practice for my band. I'm in an all-Jewish Huey Lewis and the News cover band called Jewy Jewis and the Jews. We play songs from his whole career, but we play his 1984 album Sports in its entirety, every time. It's repetitive, sure, but it's worth it to prove the haters wrong. The doubters, the cynics, who believe Jews can't play sports. I am half Jewish and half German, which is why I'm so filled with self-loathing. And I get stressed out easily. They say the best relief for stress is to have sex, but that never happens. Now there are a wide variety of other cures for stress. For example, in college, they brought in a bunch of stress-relieving puppies.
I gotta sit on that shit.
And after I had sex with those dogs, I felt completely stress-free. I studied abroad in Italy while at school. Realized that sexual harassment is a real problem there. No matter where we were, men would treat women like animals, whether it be on the street, the stores, or even the restaurants. While there, we took a trip to Capri through a travel agency where we were promised 2 meals in a 4-star hotel. And we were about to get to the hotel. Some guy comes driving by in a car, sticks his hand out of the window, and spanks a girl, a good friend of mine. And she was... sorry. And I've never been more outraged in my life. Because it was only a 3-star hotel and not a 4. The food in Italy is really good though. Much better than what is called Italian food in America. As soon as I got back, a friend took me to Olive Garden, where they call themselves, quote, an authentic Italian restaurant. And I told my friend, listen guy, this isn't an authentic Italian restaurant. If it were an authentic Italian restaurant, they wouldn't have thrown me out for pinching a waitress. Only the good die young is a terrible way to begin your grandma's eulogy. I've been trying to eat healthy recently. It's kind of weird because my grandma, my dad, and his 3 brothers all died from the same thing. But I try not to dwell on that because I don't think I'm gonna die in my Uncle Chad's murder-suicide. If I had to choose between having a time machine or having a cloning device, I would choose a time machine. And I would set myself to go back in time 5 minutes, because not only would there be 2 of me, but there'd be 2 of me before, or 5 minutes before I would need it. When I was younger, I went to a beach, and while I was getting changed, I found a peephole and saw my first naked woman. I recently went back to that beach and discovered that just down the road was a nude beach. Now I have a completely different perspective looking back on that day. If my younger self only knew what I know today. Don't settle on what you think is a great thing like a peephole, because just down the road are fat old nudists who put their dongs in that slot and use it as a Don't put your eye up to it, because one man's peephole is another man's glory hole. I love bouncy castles. I love bouncy castles because bouncy castles are about dominance. The last time I was in a bouncy castle, I showed that dominance. I wasn't the biggest kid, nor the strongest kid in the bouncy castle, but I was the one with a knife. I had the power to pop that motherfucker. One of the parents tried to test me, saying I wouldn't pop the castle, and he called my bluff. I mean, I was having so much fun in the bouncy castle to pop it. So after he called my bluff, I had no choice but to call the ambulance for his knife wound. I love bouncy castles so much that 2 conditions in my will is that when I die, I want my remains spread in a bouncy castle. And the other condition is that I don't want to be cremated. Coming from upstate New York, it's kind of weird that I've never been hunting. But there's a great place to hunt rabbits behind my house. It's called Aisle 7 at PetSmart. That is where they keep the rabbits. And while there, you also can pick up a hunting dog there too. If they sold guns, PetSmart would be your all-in-one hunting store. I have a curious mind, but my mom keeps reminding me, curiosity killed the cat. I mean, but I had a good thesis, and I was the one who had to clean up the microwave. R.I.P. Mr. Whiskers. I was having the same dream where I'd be driving in my car and my brakes would give out, so I would be going down a hill and I wouldn't be able to stop my car and I'd wake up screaming. So I went to a dream psychologist who told me that I was having this dream because I was empathizing more with people. And as soon as I stopped cutting the brakes under strangers' cars, I wouldn't have this dream again. My goal in life is to have a wrestling-themed wedding. I love wrestling. Wrestling's like picking a favorite wrestler is like picking a favorite child. I make them fight for my approval. At my wrestling-themed wedding, my goal is for the bride to walk down the aisle. Find a groom. That isn't me. Everybody's sitting there, really confused. And this fake groom starts giving this really horrifying vow. Is disrespectful and is asking for challengers to step up. Then when the priest gets to the part where he says, does anybody have any objections as to why these two can't wed? That is where I come in. My theme hits. I run in and beat the shit out of the groom. Body shots followed by suplex on suplex, and I hit my finisher. Pin him, 1, 2, 3, and it's over. He limps out, humiliated. Then comes the beautiful part, where I introduce myself to the bride for the first time and explain why I ruined her wedding by beating up her fiance. This is the last one. I had a friend, we had agreement that if we were both single by the time we were 35, we would marry each other. So for her 35th birthday, she's either going to get married due to depression on account of an agreement we made over a decade ago, or get married really close to her husband's suspicious death due to agreement we made.